tell me when it's over. Look at that. Look at that. I want to go home.
One thing I realized is that those of us who struggle with stage fright or fear of any sort are very similar to the characters from The Wizard of Oz. When we venture out into something that's beyond our comfort zone, it's definitely a Dorothy type of experience. When I'm home, around familiar faces, I'm cool, calm, and collected. I'm not worried about people judging me or feeling some type of way about me. But like Dorothy said,
there's no place like home.
Eventually you have to step out of your home, out of your comfort zone. Because if you remember, in the beginning of the movie, Dorothy had it kinda hard. She was trying to tell her family and friends about what her mean witch of a neighbor had done to her dog, trying to tell them her problems, but nobody really listened to her because they had their own problems and they figured hers wasn't nearly as important as theirs. As Jesus said in Luke 4:24, no prophet is accepted in his own home. It's usually the little guy who winds up being a prophet, but he always gets overlooked. So what do you do when you can't even express yourself to your own friends and family?
No, now, don't tell me. Let's see, you're traveling in disguise. No, that's not right. You're going on a visit. No, I'm wrong. That's right away. You're running away.
How did you guess?
Professor Marvel never guesses. He knows.
You are looking for someone who will have an open ear, which of course is easier said than done, especially if you're not a people person and have a hard time opening yourself up to others. Sometimes it takes a certain situation to force you to open up, kind of like when that twister hit Dorothy's house. She was forced to walk out into that strange land and seek help from people who were familiar with their land. I find myself in that situation when I started to analyze my life and compare myself where I am, both monetarily and spiritually, to where I saw others my age. I tried speaking to my family about my concerns and my disappointments and dreams, but I always received the same nonchalant responses. It's okay, don't worry about it, or keep the faith. And I can't lie, I'm guilty of using that last one myself. But I realized that if a person had the faith to begin with, you wouldn't have to remind them to keep it. You know, they came to you for advice clearly because they lack faith, and they need you to help them overcome that doubt. Not just soothe it, but overcome it. Even if that means giving them that tough, brutally honest love as opposed to quoting some cliche that does nothing for them but tickle their ears. Once I realized that, I knew that I couldn't keep going to family for advice. The advice I needed had to be raw and uncut. It had to come from somebody whose intentions wasn't to spare my feelings, but to actually help me progress. I thought social media would help in that area, but then I discovered people you've been friends with for a while won't really keep it 100 with you either. Not most anyway. They're just going to say whatever it takes to get you through your pain momentarily, while being careful not to hurt your feelings, just like family.
Oh, just count your blessings and cut your losses and follow the yellow brick road.
But then there are those who really want to help you get better. So you have to have a spirit of discernment. You have to know the difference between the haters and the motivators. And you can't be so caught up in your feelings that you confuse constructive criticism with destructive criticism. You know, just because a person isn't singing you praises doesn't necessarily mean they're trying to tear you down. It takes time and maturity to understand that. As I was saying, that's a strange land. Dorothy was forced to step out of her comfort zone into a strange land. And once she did that, she was able to help others. And here's the beautiful revelation that puts everything into perspective. They already had everything they were looking for.
Help me? Can you help me? You don't need to be helped any longer. You've always had the power to go back to Kansas. I have.
Then why didn't you tell her before?
Because she wouldn't have believed me. She had to learn it for herself.
They didn't even realize that they already had everything they needed. Remember, we are made in God's image. God is wise. God is courageous. God has a heart. And God has a home, which is us, just like He is our home. The problem is, God is a spirit, and we are born spiritually blind. Therefore, we can't see that we already have His attributes within us. That doesn't even make sense to us. It almost seems blasphemous to say such a thing. And because of that, most of us never reach our full God-given potential. We have not because we ask not. Or we ask and don't receive because we want to use the gifts that God gave us for our own selfish purposes when it should be for His glory. And think about this. If the characters from The Wizard of Oz never sought the wizard for the things they desired, then that wise scarecrow would forever consider himself a fool. That brave lion would forever consider himself a coward. That Tin Man with the heart of gold would forever consider himself heartless. And that little girl who carried home with her everywhere she went would forever consider herself homeless. That's the Wizard of Oz syndrome.
If you believe within your heart, you know that no one can change the path that you must go. Believe what you feel and know you're right, because the time will come around when you'll say it's yours. Believe that you can go home. Believe you can float on air. Yes, click your heels 3 times if you believe. Oh, then you'll be there. That's why I want you to believe in yourself. Yes, right from the start, you got to believe in the magic right there in your heart. Go ahead, believe all these things, not because I told you to. No, go ahead, believe in yourself. Woo, yeah, believe in yourself. Woo, yeah, believe in yourself as I believe in